Hello everyone, in today's video we will be delving into a disturbing crime. Let's begin. The Irene Cortez case presents a tragic narrative, marked by the twists of fate and personal choices that shaped the lives of those involved. Irene Cortez, born Irene Lucas in 1980 in Granada, Spain, was a woman who faced challenges from an early age. Raised in a prosperous family, she exhibited a social and vivacious personality. However, her life took a turn when she married young, became a mother, and faced the loss of her first husband, who tragically passed away in prison under mysterious circumstances. Despite these setbacks, Irene exhibited resilience and determination in raising her 3 children. She moved to Malaga, where she established a successful entertainment venue that evolved from a small disco bar to a full-fledged nightclub. Life seemed stable until her second husband, Ferd Saris, a Colombian native, became entangled in legal troubles related to illegal substance trafficking. Ferd, born in 1976 in Baronia, Colombia, had a challenging upbringing in a large, impoverished family. After moving to Spain with his elderly mother in search of a better life, he found employment as a waiter at Irene's nightclub. The relationship between Irene and Ferd went beyond employer-employee dynamics and blossomed into a romance. Despite Ferd's humble background and Irene's previous marriages, they moved in together and had 2 children. However, the shadow of legal issues loomed over their relationship once again when Ferd was arrested in 2009 for illegal substance distribution, mirroring the fate of Irene's first husband. This left Irene, now a mother of 5, facing the challenges of single parenthood once more. The complexity of Irene Cortez's life is heightened by the ambiguity surrounding her death during a trip to Colombia. While perpetrators were apprehended and are serving sentences, Irene's family insists that the real culprit remains at large, posing as a victim. The narrative invites scrutiny into the possibility of a third party's involvement or whether the alleged murder was unintentional. As each involved party strives to assert their version of the truth, the Irene Cortez case remains a compelling and intricate story, prompting a closer examination of the events leading to her demise and the motivations behind them. After serving only 1.5 years of his 3-year sentence, Ferd was released early for good behavior and cooperation with the investigation. However, during Ferd's imprisonment, Irene sought solace in the arms of another man and lived with him for the duration of Ferd's incarceration. Ferd learned of her infidelity only after his release and, understandably furious, he threatened Irene and her lover, almost resorting to physical violence. Fortunately, they were able to resolve the matter peacefully, and Ferd forgave Irene for the sake of their children. They resumed living together, seemingly putting the past behind them. However, Irene's relatives, including her mother and uncle, remained skeptical of Ferd. They disapproved of their relationship, suspecting that Ferd was primarily interested in Irene's money. Additionally, Irene's older children from her first marriage never accepted Ferd, while the youngest, whom Ferd had raised since the child was 2, saw him as a father figure. In early 2011, Ferd expressed the need to visit his homeland, Colombia, due to his father's severe illness. Ferd's estranged father had been diagnosed with advanced cancer, and Ferd's sister in Baronia informed him of the dire situation. Irene, eager to meet Ferd's father and experience the Baronia Carnival, decided to accompany him on the trip. Despite financial difficulties and a bad premonition felt by Irene's mother, Maria Lucas, Irene proceeded with the journey. On February 27, 2011, Irene and Ferd arrived in Colombia. The trip seemed uneventful at first, with the couple checking into their hotel and Irene reassuring her mother over the phone. However, just 2 days later, Ferd informed Irene's eldest son of his mother's death. Initially claiming it was an accident, Ferd later revealed that Irene had been murdered during a robbery at a Barranquilla entertainment venue. The case gained widespread attention, with the initial narrative suggesting that Irene, a Spanish tourist, was killed by robbers during a citywide manhunt. However, the circumstances surrounding the robbery and murder appeared unusual and suspicious, raising questions about the true nature of Irene Cortez's tragic death. Surveillance footage played a crucial role in shedding light on the events leading to her murder, revealing a complex and unsettling sequence of events at the bar in Barranquilla. The attackers, instead of attempting to steal anything, shot Irene in the heart and fled the scene hastily, leaving a grieving family and an unresolved mystery in their wake. In the early stages of the investigation into Irene Cortez's murder, the family of the deceased openly accused Ferd of orchestrating the crime. Irene's mother and uncle, dissatisfied with the official narrative, hired a detective to conduct an independent investigation. The detective gathered additional materials and evidence to hold Ferd accountable and prove his involvement in Irene's murder. One critical piece of evidence was the earlier disappearance of €3,000 from Irene's hiding place at home. Maria Lucas, Irene's mother, asserted that only Ferd knew about this money and was the only person who could have discreetly taken it. She believed that Ferd used this money to pay Dario, one of the perpetrators, to kill his wife. Another argument against Ferd's innocence was the fabricated illness of Ferd's father, which he used as the main pretext for the trip to Colombia. It was revealed that there was no cancer diagnosis for Ferd's father, and he was, in fact, healthy for his age. The detective also pointed out that Ferd initiated the visit to the entertainment venue where the fatal incident occurred. He insisted on continuing the feast late into the night, even when the other visitors had dispersed, leaving their group alone in the hall. The detective analyzed surveillance footage, noting peculiarities in the criminal's behavior. It appeared that the attackers, particularly Brian, the gunman, acted strangely and knew Ferd. Ferd's movements behind Irene during the incident raised suspicions, and it seemed as if he signaled to Brian before the fatal shot. After Irene's death, Ferd's behavior was also questioned. He willingly gave interviews to journalists, detailing the events, but did not seem appropriately distraught. Moreover, Ferd's choice to call Irene's 14-year-old son to inform him of his mother's death instead of contacting adult relatives raised eyebrows. Maria Lucas claimed that Ferd wanted to personally inflict pain on the teenager, punishing him for not recognizing Ferd's authority and treating him disrespectfully. Pedro Lucas, Irene's uncle, openly expressed suspicions in the results of the independent investigation. He believed that Ferd had planned the trip in advance, luring Irene into a trap, and intended to establish guardianship over the children and take over Irene's business after her death. The funeral for Irene took place 12 days after her death, with Ferd notably absent. He claimed that Irene's relatives had threatened him and his elderly mother, and he feared retribution. Ferd sought a protective order to attend the funeral, but his request was denied. In response, Ferd filed a complaint against Irene's relatives, alleging that they hindered his return home. Subsequent court proceedings unfolded with new circumstances and accusations against Ferd. The interrogations of Dario and Carlos, the perpetrators, focused on their acquaintance with Ferd and a possible premeditated conspiracy. However, Brian denied any premeditation, insisting that the murder was accidental. The accusations against Ferd lacked irrefutable evidence of premeditation or a contract killing, relying on assumptions and interpretations of the recorded events. Ferd returned to Spain only after obtaining a court order guaranteeing his safety. He claimed to have brought investigation materials proving his innocence and expressed a desire to care for the children he shared with Irene, who had been under the care of Irene's relatives during his absence. However, Ferd faced legal battles with Irene's mother and uncle, each side accusing the other, and he was unable to claim any of Irene's property. What's your take on the Irene Cortez case? Drop your theories and opinions in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more intriguing content. Stay curious.